Hello and welcome back to my survival world. Today I had very grand plans for what I was going to do. I was planning to go over there and start building my main base, because this is not that, it's only a starter base, and I really am outgrowing it very quickly. I'm running out of storage space, most importantly, so I really need to get going on that. However, it's currently been 10 days since my last video was uploaded, so I need to get this one made quite quickly. I've done all the resource gathering I need, or most of it, which is an insane amount of stuff I've got, but I'm not going to use it today. I'm going to do something that won't take as long, but I think is important, just to say I've finished this area, and that is this little pond here with the waterfalls. Already, and I think it was episode 2 I did this, I removed the big stone outcrop that was about there, so that looks a lot better now that's gone. That's annoying, it's raining. Either way, it looks a lot better now that's gone, but it does not look how I want. I want to have a very kind of cozy waterfall thing going on down here, and this isn't that. It needs to be much nicer, and I don't really know what I want to do here, so what I'm going to have to do is go onto a creative test world and plan it. And for once, I'm going to take you along for that, because I have not done any previous time. First, as always, I'm going to sleep, because that seems to be a necessity at the start of every single one of these episodes. Anyway, as the sun rises over the mountains, let's get on to my creative world. So this is the creative version of my seed, and you can see I've already started marking out where I'm going to build my main base. This is just a plan. I've actually planned the whole thing. This is just the layout of how big it's going to be, or how big the main chunk of it's going to be. As you can see, I've not really planned a lot here. I've not done a whole lot, so this is the bit that I need to get rid of again, and then I'll be able to start planning this out. Bonus of having creative tools at my creative tools like Axiom at my disposal is I can do this without spending half an hour deleting blocks, and I'll just extend that for the sake of it. There we go. That's not the same, but pretty close to what we have in my actual world. I've also got a river running down about here, I think. I'm not entirely sure 100% where it is, but I'll just mark it out to be there, so get the rough idea of what not to cut. I don't want to cut that bit off, is pretty much the point. I think what would be a good idea, maybe to start with, would just be to build this cliff up and make it more logical. Because it's very thin at the moment, and it overhangs quite a lot. Actually, the main priority is to fix this. If I fix the underground, maybe the rest of it will start sorting itself out. I'll just cover this mess up. Do not need to see this. There's also these kind of outcrop islandy bits that are underwater here, so I don't know if I need to do something with those, or maybe just remove them. I don't know. It's difficult, because they're not really in a good spot, but I don't know what else to do with them. If I use this wool, just to kind of mark out the cliff, if that's the cliff kind of face, and it's a bit more jagged than that, that will go all the way around like that. You can have a walkway on top, so that can actually, you can have a path that extends all the way around here and goes up back up to there. Well, actually no, it'd be good there, because that's where the road goes on my actual world. We go. So this is the block palette for the cliff. I don't have most of these blocks, I only have those 2. So these 3 I'm going to have to spend some time getting, which I'm not going to enjoy. But it's a worthwhile sacrifice to make this actually look good, so I can comfortably move on to what I want to do over yonder. I don't think I've ever said over yonder before. I don't know why I did. Curves this way. If I transition to, I'm going to actually make a bit more of a intense gradient here. Try and make this a bit stick out a bit more, because that was kind of the idea of it. If you can see what I'm doing, it's kind of a technique that has happened a lot more recently in builds. I'm using the darker blocks underwater so that it's clear that they're wet, and then the lighter blocks with the dry stone above the waterline. So that's where it transitions from the darkest block I've got, deep slate bricks, through cobbled deep slate tuff all the way to andesite at the top, where it'll be completely dry, and yeah. It's not, I haven't quite got the overhang I wanted yet, but I think that will come in a second when it starts to really slope a lot more. Okay, this is good. My main criticism now, I think the pool might be actually too deep, so that'll hopefully sort itself out once I start using some dirt and sand to flatten it out a bit, make it shallower. But for now, that should be okay. Yeah, this is good. I like it. If I go back to, I want grass and I want dirt. I'm going to start just kind of building out like this. So I want to start kind of using the dirt to create this overhang where it's drooping down and kind of looks like the dirt's been falling off slowly over all these years, and then creating this kind of hanging effect. Okay, this is starting to look quite good. I like this. This is very much the type of thing I'm going for. You've got this very clearly custom cliff here. It's very much cozier than it used to be because it's not just a blank stone wall. There's space for a nice path up here. And honestly, the most important thing is it doesn't look like it's just a 1 block thick stone wall that could just topple over and cause basically a small tidal wave any second, which isn't really what I was going for. Maybe I could kind of bulk it out a bit and turn it into a little outcrop island. There's no good option. I don't like anything I could do with that. I don't want really to remove it because that's a lot of work. I wouldn't mind if it was dry, but because it's underwater, it's just not really worth it. I would want to get water. I don't like this creative inventory. I'm still stuck on the old one mentally. Realistically, I know myself well enough to know I will not bother doing much terraforming. I will just get some moss and bone meal, and frankly just call it a day doing this. I'm a bit lazy with terraforming, especially since the grass here is so ugly. The moss will be necessary to make this look half decent. Let's very quickly get this bit done. I don't think there's going to be any tuff around here because the water's there. So, and it's clearly not going to be tidal because it's coming off a river. So it's not going to be tidal because it's coming off a river and a lake, and it's an extra little pond. So no tide, so this will not be wet. So I don't even need to think about putting tuff there. That looks good, I like that a lot. I could use oak. I'm guessing some of you who watch this part will probably also watch GreenBean. And if you've seen with his base in Hermitcraft Season 11, he's done some form of like oak thing underwater to try and make it look wet. The same thing I've done with this, but the sand version. I'm not sure I'm bothered to do that, as much as it would look good. Once I get the sand placed in, this should start to come together a little bit more. And maybe it'll start looking kind of how I imagined it. Problem is, I didn't really imagine this looking any specific way, but I kind of had something similar, although a lot smaller, on my old survival world, which I would show you, but it got corrupted, which is why I actually started this one. So I'm hoping I can kind of replicate that, because that was, even though it maybe took 15 minutes to build, it was one of my favourite details on that world. I had an idea that would connect this whole thing together a lot better, and I'm kind of hoping I can pull it off, because it would be so unbelievably cool if I could. Like that? No, not quite. That needs to go a bit more down, so that needs to be more like connected there. Yes. Okay, I'm thinking this was the right decision now. It's really, really come together very quickly. I want some bone meal as well. Okay, I'm now thinking of more details I can add. I'm going to steal an idea from, I don't know where he got it from, but Mumbo Jumbo. Because I really, really liked the kind of algae thing that he had going at the side of whatever he was building. I can't remember what it was. I can put these. These will die though, which is my worry. Or will they? Do they have to be underwater? Do they die? They don't die! That's good, and you can see the vines growing. They're looking good as well. Good, so I can have those. Oh, this is so nice. I like this a lot. Yes, this is really, really nice. I'm not excited to get the resources I need because I don't have any warped wood, I don't have any deep slate, I don't have any tuff. But other than that, I've probably got everything I need, and I'm quite excited to get this built. And so, let's get those resources I need, and let's build this thing. You might notice pretty quickly that I'm not actually using any building tools at all for this, not like Matica, not anything else, I don't know what other ones there are. But I don't mind that. It will be slightly different in this world to the original, but that's not a problem. One mistake I did make though when I started laying out the cliffs is that they're too far away. I built them way too far in, meaning they're extending even further in, and there's actually, it's a lot smaller, this pond, than the one I built in my creative world with you earlier. So that's not turned out how I intended, but it's not the end of the world. You won't come down in too much, it's purely decorative. The first thing I had to do was flatten out the floor, or the seabed technically, which didn't take very long, but it was a complete mess and it also just was too deep. So doing that made a clean slate. I can now start building the cliffs. I used the same block palette I did earlier, smoothed out the surrounding terrain. The block palette I'm using is deep slate bricks, cobbled deep slate, tough, stone and andesite. And it works out quite well because the darker blocks underwater make it look like they're wet, and then the dry ones on top are lighter coloured, so yeah, you get the idea. It's not particularly complex to think about. I had a lot more trouble building the archway this time, but for some reason I just had a lot of difficulty making it look natural. But I got there eventually, and I think it turned out pretty well in the end. At this point I wanted to get a feel for how the layout was starting to go, so I put grass, or technically dirt, on top of all the cliffs, just so I could kind of lay it out and see how much space there was going to be inside, which the answer was not very much. It's actually smaller than I wanted, but again, I don't really mind. It's not really an important feature of the world, it's just quite a nice, pretty one. Built the waterfalls, although I blocked them off so they wouldn't be a nightmare when I was building. And then I made the overhangs on the cliffs, where pretty much it's the dirt is kind of falling over the sides and barely clinging on. That's the idea of what this is meant to look like. It'll look better once the grass has grown in, and then I've put some moss there, but for now you see roughly what it's doing. At this point I could unblock the waterfalls and extend the grass a little bit to make it look more natural on the bigger lake side of it. Then I used dirt, I had to hollow out that area because I wanted to map out where the sand was going to go. I used the dirt basically to give it a solid foundation so the sand wouldn't fall. I'm very aware that when I'm doing this I'm blocking off a lot of the blocks I placed earlier, mostly deep slate and the deep slate bricks. That again I don't mind. I have so many, I mind stacks upon stacks. I think I had a full double chest of those 2 blocks at the start of this, so I'm not running short of them. I don't want to use them for my main base, so it's not like I'm wasting them for later. It doesn't matter, I don't care, I can go get more if I need to. Placing the sand in was very easy after that because obviously I just gave myself a layer to place it on. Didn't use nearly as much as I thought it would, which is nice because that's one thing I do need for my main base. You also will notice that the hidden bit behind the arch, which you can't see but that's where I was a second ago, it's a lot smaller than I wanted it to be. But you won't go back there, you might see it from a distance, but you're not meant to go back there, so it doesn't matter too much. This cliff I never even planned in my creative world, if you remember. I just freestyled this and it turned out okay. It's not particularly decorative, but it's nicer than what was there before for definite, and it fits the surrounding area pretty nicely. That also did mean I had to extend the farm to make it look natural, and I don't know if I did this off camera or not, but I had to go place some grass on top so that it wouldn't just remain dirt for eternity. Then I used the laziest terraforming trick of all time of getting moss and spamming it everywhere. But as usual, it turns out looking very nice. I then had to go on about a half-hour hiatus to go find some dye. well, not just dye, I had to find green dye, brown dye, the stupid particle things I just placed, I don't know what they are, glowberries, and also chains I had to find. I didn't know how to copper. What am I talking about? Pickles, there we go, that's what I meant. And also, you will see, there's an axolotl swimming around. I had to find that as well. I didn't have to find that, I just did find it. There wasn't really any thought process, I just saw that and thought, yep, that can live in the pond. I built the nice little wooden bench and extended the path down, make it look a bit more natural. And now we are done. Well, that didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. I thought that would take maybe many hours. Maybe I thought I'd have to do that over days. But I didn't. I did it in about 2 hours. So actually that wasn't too bad. And it's not the same, as I said during the time lapse. It's not identical to the one that I built in the creative world. I think it is slightly worse, to be honest. This bit's slightly less cozy, it's slightly smaller. But nonetheless, it's the risk you have to take. I didn't use Matica, as I've said. I didn't use any sort of creative tools. I just used screenshots. So all in all, I'm still happy with this, and it's probably better than I would have done if I hadn't planned it. I really like this, and this I didn't plan at all. It's not, it's something. It's not necessarily going to be the best thing I've ever made. But this I still really, really love. Got more of these floating lily pad type things. I've also used pickles, and I've hidden glowstone under these birch trap doors so the drown don't spawn in here when it gets dark. And that's mostly for the protection of, where is she? There she is, my new friend Harriet. She likes these reeds and she gets stuck on them constantly. So yeah, she probably will never go over there again because she's just always stuck here. I also wanted, and when the lag eventually stops, to quickly show you this one with shaders. I mean, look at this. It's absolutely stunning. I can't use my trident here in case I accidentally hit Harriet. But I'll go over here, and this isn't just possibly... This is such a good angle, this. I love it so much. As much as it wasn't what I was planning on doing today, this was absolutely worth it. And definitely worth doing, because now I feel like I can say that this area, minus the slightly offensive sugarcane, is complete. I feel like we are done with the Hobbit Hole. But I mean, seriously, it's kind of the last piece of the puzzle. There's still this thing here, I don't really know what to do with it, it's just a bit unfortunate terrain generation. But we've done the Hobbit Holes, that's all good, I like those, we don't need more than that. We've done this area now, which was actually one of the main things I chose the area for, because I loved this little bit. I knew I wanted to do something with it, I like that a lot, that's nice. Built a bridge you can get over, I don't need any more here. I think I'm going to harvest all the sugarcane, so I can basically get rid of it and say this area is done and it'll actually look good. Because frankly, the sugarcane's a bit of an eyesore. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look right here. So I need to make a proper farm eventually. But for now, that's probably good enough. I've also chosen, as of today, well, yesterday actually, because I built this yesterday, to start a new theme with my builds, where I make little plaques on everything saying when it was built, who by, and just any other little details. So this is built yesterday, 4th of August, by me, and home to, I swear she was just here. Oh, here she is, Harriet. So while I definitely could do more in this specific video, I don't want to, because I want to get started on my real base, because this is only a starter base, this lovely little Hobbit area. It's not my full base. I really want to get going on a bigger one. To do that, I think that needs a new video, and I've done everything I need to here, so I'm going to call this one done. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, maybe consider subscribing or liking the video or leaving a very nice comment. Help me out a ton. Thank you. And I hope I'll see you in the next one. If you want, you can always check out my other videos, which will be currently on the left-hand side of the screen, or subscribe on the right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.